Welcome back to another Stocktwits Executive Interview. I'm Katy Perry. We're here on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange with Ofer Vicus, CEO and co-founder of Aduro Clean Technologies. Ofer, thank you so much for coming in today.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Great to see you.
Thank you for the listener.
Yes. We're so excited to hear from you, and thank you for coming down from Toronto.
All the way.
I know where you guys are big.
Temperature.
Yes, it is. It's getting brisk here, but that's okay. That's New York, Korea.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to learn more about Aduro.
Yes.
Because when I'm reading up on the company, what you do sounds slightly magical, and the market seems to think so too. You're up about 75% year to date. So tell us a little bit in layman's term. You're a clean tech company. What do you guys do? How does this all work?
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me again. Aduro, basically the magic behind it is some kind of phenomena we discovered about 10, 15 years ago. It was so unique that it was hidden beneath other technologies actually that had been there. And in a nutshell, we're basically breaking down moleculars, heavy, long moleculars. That would be things like plastic or heavy oil or renewable oil or anything related hydrocarbon kind of a ways. And we break it down in a kind of a finesse way. It's involved a very low value catalyst, a little bit of pressure and some water. And normally companies like us, our peers, would need a lot of hydrogen to stabilize those things, because when you do those things, you probably motivate a lot with heat, and there's punishment because you're breaking stuff up, and we do not need hydrogen. So the sum of all things is that we are able to do the same work like others, meaning shorten those heavy, long molecules to something reasonable that has much higher value. For waste plastic is garbage, oil out of waste plastic worth much more, in much more economical way. But above that type of platform, there's more advantages that are related to the benefit of the technology. One of them would be the fact that we can live a little bit better with contamination. So that's associated a lot with garbage. And we have a little bit more tolerance to do that. And the other one is our ability to scale up. So rather than normally most of the organization would do something like centralized location, we will do localized. So now you have more advantages to go out in the market and have some more benefit. All of this come to, as a platform technologies. 15 years later, here we are, now building our pilots.
It's fascinating to think about. I mean, I'm in New York. I often think about where my garbage goes. And what you're doing is essentially, especially on our show a lot, we talk about AI, it's garbage in, garbage out. What you guys do is garbage in and then something useful
Hopefully
comes
gold out, but we don't make gold out of chicken bones and dead fish and all the others. The liquid that we're producing has to be related from real material that could be converted. In our case, it's polyethylene, polypropylene, polystyrene. Those are the material that is really harder to convert.
Yeah.
The rest is just we're trying to get a void like everyone else, only that we have a little bit more tools to do that.
And who do you sell this technology to? Is it in chemical manufacturers?
It's a great question. So our path initially was a lot of it related to maybe licensing. The approach was, hey, we're doing it so good, we'll have this technology up and running, and we could license that technology. That was our main model for many, many years. Down the road, as we start scaling and building the machines and understanding the value of those machines and the economic model that is associated with those machines, and we realize also that maybe licensing will take a little bit more time, we build another model which is build on operate, because we identified basically two streams. One, that we could license it to the petrochemical heavy, the Shell of the world, Total of the world, those guys. And even if they don't want to take that, then somebody else will want to use it and sell it to them, basically in a nutshell. But we also have a lot of motivation to do build on operate, because we see sometimes areas where we could bring real benefit, just building a cheap system and generating some revenue much quicker than the licensing model. So those are two of, I guess, the models that we're working with right now.
Yeah. And so it sounds like part of the model is securing these wastes so you can turn it into something else. Where are you? The oil, where
do you get that
from? Where do you get it?
Yeah, so there's no shortage of waste, generally speaking. We are actually, because there's so much in the market, And because of our advantages, most of our peers are fighting for the same feedstock. And so, and I'll give you examples by numbers. Let's say, most of our peers needs to work with what we call 90% polyolefin. And so they're taking the best of the best and the rest they're throwing away. And because we can do maybe 85% polyolefin, the rest is garbage, maybe 80% polyolefin, then actually we don't have to fight with them. We could just go and, somewhere else and get whatever we want. But that is on the build on operate, where we see very distinct streams that we think we can add right value. When we sell the technology, we really don't deal with actually access to the waste. The owner of the let's say the licensor of the technology has the money, has the engineering capability, has access to the waste. So we don't deal with that so much. We deal with that mainly with the build on operate, and for the rest of the time, our customers have it all figured out. They just need the best technology out there, and this is where we coming in with this opportunity to show them how best this technology and compared to the others. I have to say, Gidi, for the last 10 years, we've been showing that. I mean, so far, everything that I see on the company suggests that this is a really high performance technology compared to what's available today. And that's what I really want our investors to do their due diligence, to think about for the long run. And, if they're buying or not buying, make their own decisions, but at least they'll know by our work that we are actually performing better than whatever is available today.
And so you have the operate side and then the licensing side. How is revenue currently broken up between those two? And like where I would assume most margins is in the licensing side. What does that look like today? And then what do you want that to look like 5 years from now?
So this year's, first of all, we're very close to commercial revenue, but we're not there. It's a little bit premature. We're probably about a year and a half, maybe 2 years from that end. This year, we just built a pilot, and we're running aggressively, and we just published information about the fact that we're going to look for a site to build our demo unit, which will be later upgrade to a commercial unit. So this is maybe a year and a half down the road. Our revenue today comes a lot from just testing, experiments that we're doing for campaigns that we're doing for customers. And in this year, I think we're more busy just building the pilot and focusing on building the demo, because we have a pipeline of customers already. They're just waiting right now for us to build the pilot. They want to see those things. So we're building it. We have a pipeline already of customers that are looking at us. 2025, 2026 is the year that we're just building the pilots, and we'll run campaigns, and some money will come for that, not materialize in any way. What's important in those things to remember is who is the buyer, who is actually buying those. Because if he's buying a sample for $100,000 or $200,000, that means that they are interested in the bigger firm, or at least they want to evaluate that.
Yeah, probably long sales cycles in some of these partners, starting with the pilot. I mean, it's a great call out, similar to when we have biotech executives on thinking about how to look at metrics based on the phase of the company. With you guys in development, if revenue is not really a metric right now, that should be focused.
Good question.
Like
So I would, all honestly, I would look at what we call the moat of the company. For the last 15 years, we came out with something so significant to the market that has been challenged by the biggest and the greatest companies. They've been testing us. Many Fortune 500 that are in our pipeline of customer engagement. Our guys that are testing this technology, none of them came back and says, "Oh, this is obsolete. This is you're not using it." If anything, you have to test it. You have to be seen. Let's go and do something with it. And so I would look at the strength of the technology first and foremost. We have captured 10 patents to this day. I think we're doing on average almost a patent every year. And that is a lot in a place where the first patent in our environment was as early as 1930. So look at the strengths of the technology first, see who is the customers that are interested. And those are petrochemical organizations, heavy, large petrochemical that are testing it, and make your own choice if this is something that could live, 10, 15 years forward. Now, if you take that and look forward, and then you can do your math and understand where this could go.
So you described which companies are leaning in today. I'm curious if there's any use cases or companies that perhaps you haven't engaged yet, but you think down the road could be another type of partner that would show an expansion outside of the company.
They are all over the map. And I really can't name for the discipline that we apply because we really, for our investors, the message for our investors is you have to make your own due diligence, and we don't want you to
Yeah.
do your own math, decide of your own. So telling you something down the road that may or may not happen is not something that we are very much associated with.
Yeah.
In fact, you'll find us a little bit more conservative than I think we want to be, or some of the team wants to be.
Yeah.
But that's that. And so, what I can say is that the partners that are actually checking us are all over the map. We're talking about EPC company, we're talking about petrochemical companies, we're talking about people that owns landfill. We're talking about segment. Segment for me would be there is stadiums here with artificial turf. Taylor Swift was jumping and running on one of those.
Heard of her before.
And Aduro can recycle some of those artificial turf. And so organizations that are looking at that would be, but that is a very segment, stream that if we will not do anything with it, otherwise we'll end up in a landfill.
Yeah.
So we see our potential revenue from that. This is a refinery-like operation. It's not something that you can build in a day and just shut it out. And what's important is the steps that we're taking. If there is success in the steps, then you add value to the company, and that's what we're asking our investors to look at.
Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. You're talking about kind of steps to get there. You mentioned the moat and the patent.
Yeah.
Help us size up, like, how important are these patents? How long do they last?
How long do they exist?
What does that mean in terms of the moat?
A lot for us. So if you ask a petrochemical company to design a paper bag, they'll come back after 2 or 3 years with, a bill of $10 million. So for the large organization, this is really a heavy lifting. And in our sector, we studied waste plastic, chemical recycling, we study heavy oil, we study renewable oil. And to generate all that data, probably hundreds of millions of dollars by estimation if I need, somebody else to go and do that. So we're considered to be very, very cheap where we are. Some of the patents that are there are more related to picket fencing. We just don't want anyone to go in.
Yep.
And some of the patents are, very dedicated to the core. I won't tell the investors and maybe our listener which one is which one. Go figure it out. There's plenty of material to read there.
Yep.
But we trust our work to that level that we feel that this is we build a significant moat around it. We, in general, probably almost every year generate something new, which tells you something about the team and the capability to innovate and look beyond what we have around applications that other doesn't even think of. And we have one or two of those in our, back pocket, but it's yet to be seen. First, let's just make some money from chemical recycling, bitumen. Those are the applications that we spend most of the time in the last 3 years, and we want to get them going.
Okay, final question for you. I know we have a lot of investors. Over time, sentiment around sustainability, clean tech has changed, but you guys seem to be in a different bucket, almost in that you're creating something net new out of it. It's a proactive sort of measure that you're taking. So how would you bucket yourself in terms of a categorization of the company? Would you bucket yourself as a sustainability play or more of a pure play sort of energy kind of a play?
Yeah, this is a really wonderful question. We have to make money first and foremost. So before sustainability, before anything else, the goal is to actually make money. So there's the time where the world of society has been willing just to pay for some kind of an operation where the government will, kind of promote and grant. It's just getting smaller and smaller.
Yep.
The companies in our side are forced more and more and more to show profitability by themselves without any government relation. I think we are somewhere in this sustainability mode. I absolutely agree with that. We haven't spent a minute to speak about the environmental benefit, but I can lay down a little bit of that. If our technology operates somewhere in a low environmental energy mode, just takes less energy, if our technology can live a little bit more with contamination, if our technology produce higher yield, and the liquid oil that we're producing actually value a little bit more, when you sum it all up, you get a benefit, a huge environmental benefit. We haven't pushed those environmental benefit in numbers because we're waiting for our pilot. 2025, 2026 is where the time the pilot will start running and, operating on full time. We could get some numbers around that, and this is the time where we'll put our numbers around the environmental benefit. But from that perspective, definitely sustainable, if you will, company. But I should say we are also doing build on operate, and so we see applications where we are building ourselves, and we will generate revenue ourselves, shorter actually than longer in our perspective. Our efforts, for example, to build our first demo is probably closer to the early 2027, and that will be our demo, and we want to make sure then upgrade it to something commercially quite quickly immediately after. So if you take that road and look at the company, it's possible that the company will grow beyond just technology development, but that's yet to be seen. But there is plenty there for us to investigate.
All right, great framing, business impact, environmental benefit.
A lot of it.
That's what we're looking for.
Thank you too much.
Everyone, this is Ofer Vicus, co-founder and CEO of Aduro Clean Technologies. That's ticker ADUR. Thank you so much, Ofer, for stopping by.
Excellent, Eddie. Nice to meet you, and thanks a lot for the audience for listening.